Hello, Reese from the Point Music News podcast thingy, bijiggy, stingy, thingy, podcast thing. Yeah. Another fresh podcast for you. Another episode. This time we feature the lovely Georgia Betts, alt folk indie. She's just dropped her debut album, Autumn, and it's very cool. There's a mixture of all the alt folk and folk indie and a bit of folk indie rock in a sense too. Anyway, we talk about that. We talk about the production of it and her history in busking and all sorts of things in between. And she's an absolute gem, and you need to watch this or listen to this podcast because it's a good one. So, ladies and gentlemen, and people of all sorts, this is Georgia Betts. Let's get this going. Hello, Georgia Betts. How are we tonight?
Hello. I'm very good. How are you?
Supposed to have been a day off for me, but it wasn't. So, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's one of those days. All good. First of all, congrats on Autumn. Yeah.
Thank you.
Full-length album,
Thank
mate.
you.
Well done. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Releasing an album can be like a very daunting and lengthy process, and a lot of the time it's kind of like, oh, I'm done with this, and then you finally get it out, and it's like this big breath. So, was that how it felt for you once you got it out there?
Oh, 100%. It's yeah, exactly like that. It felt like a big exhale after a lot of time and energy and thought going into it. And it's just nice to have it out in the world because I guess that was always the dream and the end wish for it all. And so for it to now be out is very, yes, a big relief, but also, yeah, a lot of pride and yeah, good chance to actually celebrate because you do get a bit used to your own stuff and a bit sick of the sound of your own voice and all of that. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have a moment to go, oh, that was actually kind of cool what I made there. So yeah.
Do you? Because I know that I don't actually listen to any of the albums that I've played on like straight away. Anyway, like I might on release day, and then I basically go, you know what, that experience is done. I'll let everyone else enjoy it or whatever they want to do with
Yeah.
it. I'm done with that. I don't want to hear those songs unless I have to play them live. I don't want to hear them right now.
Yeah.
That kind of feeling.
100%. And yeah, it's funny. Some of my first singles, I haven't really listened to them very much in recent months since they've been out. And listening to them on the album, I felt like I enjoyed listening to them a lot more than I almost forgot them, and I was seeing them with fresh eyes and going, "Oh, this was actually not too bad." Now that I haven't listened to it for 6 months, so yeah, so definitely that effect.
How long was the actual process for this album?
So I wrote most of the songs, pretty much all the songs on the album back in 2023, kind of throughout the year.
Yep.
And then I got into the studio February last year. So yeah, it's fitting that in around other full-time work and just life and things. It's when I look at it in the timeline of it all, it feels like it's been a long time, but that time has gone by very quickly and it's been felt very packed. So
well, 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years isn't too bad for an album, mate. That's actually pretty reasonable. I know some people smash things out in like 6 months. I mean, I was in a band that it took us literally like 4 or 5 years to get the album completed and out there. So yeah, 2 years is pretty standard. So yeah, well done for keeping it that way and not going overboard.
Thanks. Yeah, well, because I feel like I jumped on it quickly when I realized I had enough for an album, like enough songs that I felt like fit well together and that I was proud of and not sick of yet. I kind of jumped on that feeling and got into the studio early. I think if I had left it another 6 months, I probably would have talked myself out of it or gone, nah, I don't like that song anymore, or nah, I want to change this. So it's felt like a little sweet spot that I kind of got in and made it happen.
So I'm assuming a lot of these songs, because given your busking history and your solo performance in that, a lot of this is basically, a lot of these songs were just basic folk structure that you've done, and then you've brought them in and into the studio, and then you're working with a friend of mine too, Jack.
Yes, he's awesome.
He's very clued in to everything there, so got a lot of love for Jack. So I'm assuming you brought these sketches to him, and he's just gone, you know what, this could do a bit of beefing up, or did you have ideas preconceived before you came into the studio?
Yeah, they all started, yeah, just me and my guitar. And I knew that I wanted to bring them in and kind of have them take on a bit more of a full band sound. I definitely, some tracks had a lot more of a clear direction. Others were a bit of a, yeah, bit all over the shop. One of, like, a couple of the tracks went through like dozens of reimagine. I was like, oh, this is gonna have this R&B feel, or it's gonna be like this, and then now it's gonna flip to really stripped back, and now actually let's play it on the main part on piano instead of guitar, and let's just fully, anyways. So there was definitely some tracks, and poor Jack, I feel like I put him through a lot of different chops and changes and things like that. But it was also me realizing that one song can't be everything. I think that's probably been a massive reflection. And even like the span of the album, there's moments where I probably could have honed in and found a little bit more of a cohesive, streamlined sound throughout it. And I kind of, I don't know. But then there's also, I could have gone way more rogue and had every genre basically in the album, but it's trying to find a place for everything. And also, yeah, there's certain tracks on the album that I feel like has stayed a little bit more stripped back, and I actually really appreciate them more for that.
I mean,
so it's hard not to overdo it.
I think the track that stood out to me, and this might surprise you, was actually Naked.
Because
it is a bit of left of center, and you actually go a little bit proggy in one part, because there's this just complete utter change there, just like, oh, okay, all right, cool. I wasn't expecting this kind of thing. Like, I know there's a bit of like an indie rock element come in there, but that was something completely different. I mean, there's a few other songs in there where you're doing key changes I didn't expect as well. So was that something that you had an idea or mucked around with, or did Jack just go, you know what, well, let's just fuck around with this thing and see where it goes?
No, it felt very, I'm surprised like how involved it felt throughout the whole process. It's so funny. It's been great working with Jack because I think our brains just work in fundamentally different ways. He's very like logical, knows the ins and outs, knows the, I guess, the science and the I don't know, just the structure of everything so well. And I like my learning of music has felt very intuitive, and my music theory is shocking. So I would just write random, and a lot of the random time changes and the random key changes, I would just be messing around my guitar and go, oh, okay, this kind of works. And then and so when I'd bring it to Jack, or even with the other session musicians on the track, they go, oh, I like how you've gone to this part here, and I'm kind of like, sure. I mean, that was totally intentional. I totally knew what that was called. And so I think the timing change was something that I kind of thought would be really cool. And I knew for that song I wrote the bass riff that kind of goes throughout the song. I was like, this feels like a cool part to it. Jack was great at encouraging me to be a bit more involved with some of the instrumental parts, because I would often go, oh, I'm sure there's a guitarist that's a million times more efficient at playing this thing than me.
That's not the point at all.
No. And I really appreciate for example, Last Day of May, all the acoustic parts, which there's a bunch of different layers and things. I actually, I played on the studio version, and I probably, otherwise, if Jack had gone, yes, that's fine, we'll get someone in, I probably just would have outsourced that. So it's been a good growing experience for me too, and learning to trust and know as well, even for catchy riffs and things like that they don't have to be the most elaborate thing, which is great, because I don't know how to play the most elaborate
simplicity is key, right?
Yeah.
And so working in the studio, I'm assuming this was at Gasworks that you did this?
Yes. Yeah.
Right, cool. And obviously sitting in the sessions with Jack and that, you would have been picking up bits and pieces of how now you know how to go at home and do your own sort of pre-production now.
Yes.
On a more intense level, right? Because I know from the times that I spent in bigger studios, I was always watching, and like I'm just a
100%.
humble bass player, right? So basically I was figuring out what was going on there, what was going on, listening and watching what the producer or engineers were doing, why they were doing things, comping, all that kind of stuff. A lot of people don't understand what comping is. Basically, vocal tracks, multiple, put them together, bang, done, as an example. So I'm guessing that you've done this and you're ready to go. You know what? I can do this now. I'm a little bit more confident. I can actually go home after this album's done, put some songs together, and be a bit more experimental and start the next process. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, it's honestly all of this, because this was my first time in a studio. I had I've never like studied music or kind of had any real exposure to the whole recording process, softwares, any of that stuff. A lot of it went over my head, I'm not going to lie. But I would ask, and that's why it was great working with Jack, because I'd ask him a question about this and he would just so passionate. I could see his like face light up and be like, oh, let me tell you about this. And it was just really cool. Again, I don't know, because our brains are quite different. I don't know if I would get quite as excited about
Not
some
yet.
of those things, but
not yet.
But I'm excited. I'm really, it's just something that I think, having that exposure to it, I know I would need a lot of upskilling and training, especially with software management and having things not just be messy, chaotic. I could imagine like
that just takes time. That bit, like, it's the whole fuck around and find out thing. Okay, so I know that. Yeah. I mean, I know Jack works in Pro Tools, so I work in Logic. Similar kind of doors in a sense, but I know that my first recordings were very chaotic. And then you basically learn, oh, you know what, I need to neaten this structure here. And then, oh, okay, that makes sense. Oh, it's a shortcut for that, and it's a shortcut for that. And you've got markers there, so you know when you're stuffed up or what take it is. Yeah. If you've been paying attention, you'll figure it out. It's Also, going back to what you were saying about like being intuitive as a musician, that's one of the best things about being like basically self-taught musician, or not knowing that much theories, because though there are rules to musical composition, you're also told there are no rules.
Yeah.
Except for like one or two things that just don't work. Like creating dissonance for the sake of creating dissonance. For some people might like it, most people don't. And for musicians that are trained to come in and say, "Hey, this is cool," it means that the rules that you were kind of breaking, in a sense, because you're following your own guideline, well, it still sounded good in the first place, right?
That's it. Yeah.
So take that home.
Yeah. It is true, leaning into your own strengths as well. I think that's what's been really cool with this project, is I think having such a background being a soloist, I hadn't really had much experience working with other musicians, didn't really feel very linked into, I guess, what's going on in Brisbane and the music scene and things like that. So even just meeting a few people and just building a bit of confidence that when you each bring your own strengths to the table, you can create something really beautiful. And there's no way that this album would have probably happened at all, but certainly not in the way that it has come together without like a team of people bringing it together. And I think instead of I think I used to feel this sense of, I can do it all myself. And you can, but it's going to limit what you can do. There's certain things you can do by yourself, but if you want something to feel like you're kind of exploring, expanding, then you need to learn how to work and ask for help and ask for guidance, and not be afraid of looking a bit stupid as well.
Never be afraid of looking stupid. We get up on stage and bare our souls all the time. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. So you're going to be playing with a full band in your album launch, which is this Friday, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you.
This Saturday. Sorry.
Saturday, 31st. Right. Sorry.
Yeah.
You did actually have Friday in one of the press release. Just saying.
Did I? Oh, sorry. Thank you.
All good. But you're not really used to playing in a full band setting, are you?
No, I'm not. So this is. Yes, and I'm not freaking out about it at all.
You'll be fine.
You can tell.
You're surrounded by great musicians that I know personally. So
that's the thing. It is a lot of just trusting that when you're all up there together, things will work out, and just knowing that it's never going to be perfect. And that's like a hard thing, I think, especially when you've spent so many hours getting the studio recordings just so polished. to then go and be like, we're going to do these songs, but they're not going to sound the
Nope.
same, and they're not even going to sound like they have at any of our previous rehearsals, because it's going to be a completely different night, completely different energy,
Yep.
and for better or worse, it's going to turn out differently. So you just sort of have to embrace that, which is easy for me to say when it's 5 days out, and not when I'm the hour before leading up to it. But that'll be fine.
It's fine, mate. You'll be alright. It's
Yeah.
When you're surrounded, and these other musos will have you back anyway. The ones that are like a seasoned, and they have done this day in, day out, and they sense anything wrong coming. You know that they can bring it back, right? So
That's it.
It's a pretty easy thing to do. I mean, I've done that times too, and look over someone just gone, was that supposed to happen? The drummer will look at me and go, no, but we'll just go with it anyway, right? Free jazz is what we like to call it in the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited. It's going to be very out of my comfort zone, but also I'm really looking forward to it. It's exactly, I wanted to do more shows with band, and just the rehearsals in the lead up to have been really fun as well. So it's going to be very cool.
All right, so you have a platform now with me. Explain in your best words, in the shortest way possible, what this album is in its sound. In your words.
Okay. Yep. So I feel like autumn for me as a season and as this album is all about change, transition, kind of stepping into new chapters, letting go. It's just really, I think this album really encapsulates what I feel like autumn is as a season, that there's shedding. And I feel like a lot of the tones that we have on there as well are that really nice, warm kind of sound. We've got some of that dissonance, some of those like the windy autumn days, and you've got some of the really clear, beautiful, sunny days with the cool air. And I just, I wanted to create something that felt like it kind of took you on a bit of a journey. And there was lots of highs and lows, but ultimately it's a lot of that self-discovery, I think, of mid-20s. So that's what, I feel like it showcases.
So it's a form of catharsis for you, in a sense?
Yes, all the tracks are very, very much my own personal, thoughts and journeys, I guess, over the last couple of years. So, they all kind of have this. I also love in my writing to play on this idea that sadness and happiness are kind of two sides of the same coin, and this idea that to feel true happiness, there's often some sadness in there, and to feel sadness is often happiness that's underneath it. And it's just, I really like, I've had a lot of feedback that people have gone like, are you okay? Because your music's a little bit dark, or it's a little bit sad. Like, when are you going to write a happy song? But I don't see that as that. Even some of the sadder songs on the album, I really see this underlining message of hope throughout all of them.
I got that.
And I try to write in that way. Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's what I think I've tried to bring.
I didn't really get an overreaching or overbearing sense of sadness, but then I'm really shit at lyrics too. Like even my own lyrics. I listened for melody. I listened for musical structure, melody, tone, delivery, all the technical sort of stuff that makes what I look for is a goosebump moment. And a lot of the time, lyrics for me personally don't give me the goosebump moment. It's the delivery that gives me the goosebump moment, right? So I actually have to listen to songs. Like, you've given me a whole album to listen to. I have to listen to like one song probably like 6-7 times before I go, oh, that lyric's cool. Okay, yeah. It's just the ADHD in me. Like, it's just too much stuff going on. I tab, and it's just I get a little bit overwhelmed, and if I have to focus on one thing. But me personally, I did get that feeling of optimism and hope, even though might have been that there was like some melancholy in there too. I got that. But if you asked me to recite a lyric for you, I couldn't fucking do it.
That's so funny. I'm very the opposite. I love chatting to people and figuring out which one they are. Do they hear the music, instrumentation, some of those other things, or are they very lyrics focused, and I feel like I definitely take in the lyrics a bit more first. But I also am terrible at mishearing lyrics. So I'll often be like, wow, this song is really cool.
Yep.
Love this message. And then I look at the lyrics and I was way off. It's not even close. But I'm like, I like my version better. I'll just keep singing it the way I've been singing it.
Shit. One of the bands I was in for like 10 odd years, there was a song that I got the lyric for. It was one of the main lines in the song and the chorus. I got it wrong for like 3 or 4 years. I was singing, even singing backup harmonies for it, and I was singing it wrong. But because it was in the background, it didn't matter anyway. But yeah, it's just a little in-joke for myself. But yeah,
I love that.
It happens. But it's interesting. So you get emotion from lyrics.
Yes, yeah. And that's why it's also been cool throughout this, because it's I think the music definitely, and specifically just little embellishments, or little moments that just stick out instrumentally, like a little sparkle of something. Or I love those moments where there's just like this tiny bit. I reckon it's like 1 second or half a second in a song that will be memorable for me.
Yep.
And when it comes to that, I like go wow wow and sing along to it and whatever. But I think those moments are probably lyrics, and then those moments, like random little things that are just like sprinkled in there, and then it's probably like the overall other stuff. So yeah, it's also been cool kind of putting those little parts in throughout the songs and being like, oh, this is a moment that's going to, like, this is a little instrumental part that's going to get stuck in my head, or that is going to feel like a really pivotal part of the song. I don't know if anyone else even notices them, but I know.
You might be surprised. I mean, I know going through my journey as a solo artist now, which I'd never thought I would ever do in my entire life, and writing lyrics and that, and structuring the songs themselves, and what I thought was going to be the main hook actually just becomes like a support for something else that just came out of nowhere, that I thought I just did an ad lib, and the ad lib turned into a bloody hook. And and the main lyric is just sort of sitting underneath it somewhere, just going, oh, okay, oh, all right, well, I put all that effort in making that lyric sound right. It's the ad lib that sounds fucking cool. God damn it! But whatever works, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So, your busking history though, so whereabouts were you doing all that?
Oh, all over Southeast Queensland. I mostly did a lot of markets, weekend markets and things like that. But I busked, lots of strange different places. Played at like nursing homes before. Played in like chook markets with like chicken coops all around me. Like,
as you do.
It was. I started, as you do, honestly. I started busking when I was maybe, I'm gonna say like 13, 14 or something. Right. And so it kind of, I busked pretty much, busking got me all through high school and uni and things like that. So I was doing it a lot, which was cool. It's definitely, then it was an interesting shift going from that, probably about 5 years ago. I wanted to get a few more paid gigs and do like weddings and pub gigs and things like that. So even just that switch was a really interesting change, because just being able to pick up your case and go plonk it down somewhere whenever time, stay however late you wanted, meet a lot of interesting people along the way and have some interesting chats, and it was just very very different worlds, busking, and paid like weddings especially.
Weddings
very different.
Weddings is nothing, man. The weddings is the good pay, and you have to deal with drunk people asking you to play like Case on or some shit. But you being
Sweet
worried,
Caroline, that was always was my go-to one.
Well, that's probably better. But you being worried about playing like with the full band and everything, and being nervous and that, being a busker, you've got the toughest skin developed out of all the musos, because you got to deal with some random weird shit, or being completely ignored the entire time, right? So I wouldn't worry about that. You've already got that.
But it's very different. I'm very used to just not like just playing to a wall, or just having yeah, just like it's a very different experience. I think it's definitely tough on my skin, and I think in life in other areas, but
Right.
yeah, it's almost when I know that I've got a full audience that's watching me, and I'm up on stage. Someone's got me to be there for a specific structured occasion, even though it's a lot more controlled variables. No one's just going to come up to you and start randomly talking at you, or wanting to pull out their harmonica and like just jam with you out
Yeah.
the front of Coles,
Yeah.
like on a
I have
Friday
I have
morning.
I have seen
Um,
that. I have seen that before.
yeah, it's like it's daunting in its own different way. So yeah, I think that hopefully there'll be some transferable skills. I think in just the not being, hopefully the moving on from things and not getting jaded by little moments that are a bit weird.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll help. That'll help in future and things like that. But it's interesting. I don't I used to like in school and yeah, mostly like having structured performances. Back in high school, I used to get really stressed about performances and get really
Mm.
nervous and things like that, and it would just get progressively worse in the lead up to. But now yeah, recent performances, I've just felt maybe a little bit, maybe a week or so out where I'm like, okay, I need to
Yep.
get my shit together, make sure I know my stuff. But once I go in there, I just, and especially once I'm up on stage, I just feels like I'm kind of home and feels like I can
Yeah.
just breathe out and yeah, it's yeah, and I don't know, maybe having a lot of time busking all those years, just the idea of performing is just kind of yeah, I don't know, maybe it's just I'm just ready for anything.
One question I've been asking, particularly vocalists, over the last few podcasts, is how did you find your voice? Because as me being primarily a bass player, right, for 30 odd years, like longer than you've been
Yeah.
alive for, right? I was playing bass for.
Yeah.
But I've never been like a singer. I'd back up harmonies and that. Yep. But me, like I said, I've gone and do my solo thing. I had to find my voice, and it's taken me a lot to try and figure out what my voice is. So that is my question. How did you find your voice?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's funny. I think the voice came first for me. I started learning guitar back when I was 10, which is a long time, and my guitar skills are not reflective of that time. But I learned guitar as a means to basically support singing. So like I think the singing was always the initial driving force. So I just used to just sing all the time in my bedroom, and yeah, I was writing lyrics and writing songs before I even had a guitar or any. I just come up with random melodies a cappella and just sing them. So I think the finding a voice, I don't really know where that happened along the way, but it definitely throughout this project, it challenged me a lot. I think it, especially on a few different tracks where I needed to have a little bit more oomph.
Yeah.
I think some of the maybe the more folky ones that just sort of sit at this comfortable register and things, they're a bit more breathy and relaxed like that. They're yeah, very different, and it's certainly that mid-tempo slow is my comfortable sweet spot. Love it. But some of the more energetic, like the You I Used to Know, we did a full. So we did like couple vocal takes and we did one vocal take for the demo, and then I was like insisted that before we got the other session musicians in, I was like, nah, I need to do another take because it was so bad and I don't want them to have to listen to that. Did another take of that. Then we did another like 2 or 3 full different vocal takes, send them back, and I was like, nah, just not getting it. And I don't know. I resorted to like doing star jumps right before the like take that we ended up having, because I just like I don't know, I needed to shift some energy and I needed to kind of embody the movement of the song a little bit. So yeah, it's that part of it. Finding the new like Georgia voice has been quite tricky through this project, but it's been really cool because I listen to the album now and I see a lot more breadth in what I can do vocally that I didn't think was possible a couple of years ago, which is really cool.
It's funny that you mentioned the star jump thing to try and get more energy out of the performance, right? Because I did a reverse tactic with one of the bands that I did production for, which was one of my own bands. The singer is used to being a belter, right? He used to belt it all the time.
Yeah.
He can sing gently, but it has to be the right kind of mode or song, right? But this particular song that we're doing, there was mainly belting, but he needed one moment of vulnerability, and I couldn't get it out of him until I figure out. I grabbed a pillow, and I said, "Hang on to the pillow." And,
nice.
and when you hang on to the pillow, you imagine the softness of the pillow, and that's how soft your vocals got to be. I got the take out of him. I even got photos of him hanging on to the pillow. Yeah. So, those kind of techniques in the studio work. It's just got to find a step for you to get that little bit out of you, and it makes sense after a bit.
Or so many times. Less as time went on, but initially the red light fever was like hitting me hard, and a lot of the time Jack would he'd be like, "Okay, I won't record this one, just like figure it out, see how you're feeling with it," and then at the last second he'd like just hit record just as I finish, and he'd be like, "Ha ha ha, I caught it." And I was very thankful for those moments, because as soon as I'd be like staring at the screen, seeing the blinking red light, I would just get a bit like, oh. But as time went on, there's so many different weird tactics to get good vocal takes. But it was also just learning to take space from it, because sometimes I just sit there and just nitpick so much. And it's often no one else can hear what you're even hearing, like the little random thing that you're obsessed over. Yeah, no one's even
no one pays
noticing
it.
So.
There'll be something else that they'll find, and you just go, "Wait." What?
Yeah.
That's awesome, Georgia. Our time is up, so we'll wrap things up now. Autumn is out now on all streaming platforms, and you will be doing your album launch at is it the Cave In? Where are you? You got it? Yeah.
The Cave In. Yep.
The Cave In Brisbane on Saturday, 31st. And
yes.
Cool. You have an absolute blast with this. Well done, mate. Enjoy your album launch.
Thank you so much.
You hang on the line.
Thank you for listening, and thank you for your time.
Oh, good. You hang on the line there, and we'll have a quick debrief. Everyone else, this has been Georgia Betts. Adios. Big thank you to Georgia for that podcast episode. I hope you dug this one, and also do check out Georgia's album Autumn, which is available on all streamers right now. And also, if you're interested and keen and free, go to her album launch at the Cave In Brisbane on this Saturday, May 31st. And you'll see some of my mates playing along with her too, which is cool. I've got more podcasts in the works. We're edging, believe it or not, towards 100 episodes of this thing, which is a bit of a I don't know, a celebration of it, but I don't know. It's been a slog since we started this in the C word times, and now we're 5 years down the track and still doing them. So this is kind of cool. Thank you for sticking it out with me. Until then, thank you for supporting local music, Australian music, all sorts of music. You guys are legends. Bye-bye.